Statistical studies of early Buddhist texts indicate that early Indian Buddhism was highly urban, elitistic, and controlled by people who came from upper caste background. For instance, more than 84% of the human bodhisattvas were born in urban centers, and more than 86% of them came from either royal family or the family of a rich businessman or a high official. This is the data gathered from the text called Jatak, 547 stories of the previous births of the Buddha. So when you look at these stories, this data, it shows that nearly 90% of all the men and women mentioned in the, for example, in the Pali Vinay Pitak and Sut Pitak, came from urban centers. And so this kind of urban background makes a very interesting study. So it may be really interesting to note that whereas pre-Buddhist literature has almost exclusively for its background a rural material milieu, the literature of early Buddhism breathes a new urban spirit. So urban centers like Shravasti and Rajgah, with sporters like Bimbisar, Jivak and Ajatashatru, reflected the importance of royal and bureaucratic sport for the success of early Buddhism. Viable environment for Buddhism was created by extensive trade, accumulation of mercantile capital, and the emergence of a powerful class of merchants and bankers, a class which was in search of new ethical values and a religious philosophy of a significantly different character than the one that was contained in the old Vedic religion. So specialization now appears to have been in fact a particular feature of the Mahajanpad period, that is the age of the Buddha is also sometimes called the Mahajanpad period. So in this period there was a growing tendency among the people of similar background, occupation or profession to group themselves together and form sort of organizations. The process of urbanization must have accelerated such a process. Such villages called after craftsmen, traders and professionals must have existed on the outskirts of various urban settlements. Hence, we have villages of salt makers, Lonkargam, carpenters, Vaddakigam, reed makers, Nalkargam, and attendants Aramikagam. Similarly, we come across streets of say ivory workers, Dantakar Vithi, and weavers, Peskar Vithi, located in cities such as Varanasi. Yes. Villages named after various castes as well as outcasts. For example, a Brahman Gam, a Chandal Gam also can be found in abundance in early Pali texts. Early Buddhist literature refers to 6 Mahanagaras. The term Mahanagar implied a big city which was a sort of cosmopolitan settlement due to its richness, prosperity, people of varied and diverse interests, habits and origins. The 6 Mahanagars generally testify this through the archaeological as well as textual information. The 6 Mahanagaras were Varanasi, Champa, Kushambi, Rajgraha, Saket and Vaishali. Settlements of this category also controlled the fortunes of other urban settlements in more than one way. In the newly emerged states with a monarchical system of government, the control of agricultural land and the right of succession played a major role. A political authority functioning within a territorial limit was financed by an income collected by those who contributed regularly on an impersonal basis to its maintenance. Various specialized agencies and institutions, both formal and informal, helped in maintaining an order of stratification. Hierarchy and differential access to basic resources became an integral part of the system. Centralization of power, after all, depends upon the ability of the ruling authority to interfere in society. The basis of this ruling class and its allies provided the necessary atmosphere for the emergence of the Ganga urbanization. Though archaeology has not yet succeeded in tracing the step-by-step transformation of rural into urban society, at some sites where painted grey ware (PGW) and northern black polished ware (NBPW) have been found, that transformation is noticeable. The walled urban settlements appeared as a means of protection, seclusion and privilege for the ruling class and its allies. The restriction on the size of the early urban settlements also implied restrictions on urban life and possibly contributed to dense population agglomerations. The Buddha spent most of his time in the vicinity of a dozen or so urban settlements of a substantial size which existed at that time. The overwhelming dominance of capital settlements, the clear hierarchical ordering of settlements, and the concentration of urban settlements in limited areas is worthy of notice. Differentiation based on size was accompanied by a clear delineation of functions, with larger settlements serving all the functions and the smaller ones their unique roles. Villages served as primary agricultural producers, nigams participated in trade and redistribution. The capitals not only performed all those functions but also supported elite residences, large religious establishments and civic and ceremonial structures. The proliferation of crafts and increasing numbers of artisans led to an important element in the urban settlements' economic organization, the guild system, that is Shrenis and Shrenis.